Radio check, loud and clear. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 600 people live. That is fantastic. We are 30 minutes away from the start of Free Practice 2 here in Barcelona. Formula 2 qualifying has just finished. Arvid Lindblad has taken first position with Sebastian Montoya in second place and Kushmaini in third. But we'll be 30 minutes away from the start, as I just said, to Free Practice 2, where we'll get the drivers doing some more quali sims. We'll have as you can see, we did have some race runs. Hamilton did some race runs, so did Piastri, so did Behrman, on those hard tyres. All the way up to 24 laps was the most tyre wear that anyone had on a set of tyres, and that was Lewis Hamilton on a single set of hards. And, session's been good so far. The drivers have been enjoying driving around the circuit. We did have Ryo Hirakawa take part in Free Practice 1. He ended up in 17th. And then with Victor Martins in 19th place with the Williams team. So Alex Albon will be back, and so will Esteban Ocon for Free Practice 2. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for coming along. The purple dot is back. Indeed it is. We have the speed traps at the purple dots. The green dot is the DRS detection point, and then we have the green line as the DRS zone. I don't know why we have so many yellow flags really at the end of FP1, but the whole circuit was sort of just covered in yellow flags. I think they were testing out the systems, just making sure everything was good to go. And yeah. All right. Where can I find the F1 and FP2? Probably the best way to do it for the lowest price is Surfshark VPN. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. I'll just put the instructions up on screen if you're interested. But I think most people have already heard me say this about 1,000 times, so I'm not going to say it again. Yeah. All right, so I might as well run through all of the drivers, see what their progress is like, what their form's like, and while we're waiting for the start of the session. Folks, if you have any questions or anything like that, then do let me know in the chat. I will be happy to answer all of them. Given that we haven't got really too many people in the stream, I should be able to get to everyone's questions. Oh, can't do tonight, mate. Have a nice race, vamos. Yeah. Thanks, Lily Miguel. I don't know how to say that name, but thanks for tuning in, and I've read quite a few of your messages. Do you see Max P2 in the championship? Because this is Hamilton/Rosberg situation. McLaren's going to get heated up more and more. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If McLaren had a clear number one driver and a clear number two driver at this moment in time, and they say, okay, for example, they say Piastri is going to be the number one driver, Norris is going to be P2, and then basically Norris for his entire race strategy and everything is centered around just holding Verstappen off and keeping him in third position, then I think it'll be a very easy fight. Not very easy fight, very easy win for Piastri in the championship. But McLaren aren't going to do that. McLaren aren't going to just say to one of their drivers, oh, we're going to compromise you and the other driver's going to win the championship. Both of them are going to fight it out to right to the end, and that gives Max Verstappen the opportunity to slip in, potentially get first position, potentially get second. But it really depends on how far the gap is between the McLarens and the Red Bulls, because if the McLarens are leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else, then it doesn't matter if they keep squabbling amongst themselves, they'll still end up probably first and second, and Verstappen's not going to have a shot at the championship. So Verstappen will have a shot at P2, but that relies on his car being close. The battling between Norris and Piastri may get really, really intense, but they're still going to be up in first and second place, and that doesn't change much. Alright. Did something happen in a Free Practice 1? No, not really. The most eventful thing that we had was a little yellow flag from Lance Stroll. Apart from that, it has been a pretty standard Free Practice 1 session. All of the teams, of course, they do have the new front wing for the new technical directive that's going to flex a lot less. It's going to basically be a not flexible, a stiff wing rather than a flexible wing, and it's just going to, well, hopefully change up the order a little bit. Maybe McLaren's will slow down a bit, maybe Ferrari will go up. We'll just have to wait and see, but that is what we thought would happen. McLaren would slow down a bit, Ferrari would increase in pace, and then the rest of the drivers would stay approximately where they are. Mercedes have brought a big upgrade package this weekend, but they were driving around on the medium tyres in free practice 1, so they'll probably do soft tyre runs today. Well, not today. Yeah, today, just later on in the free practice 2 session, and then we'll get a bit of a read into what their pace is like. But Lando Norris, his quickest time on a set of softs are 1:13.7 for him. Is Red Bull more focused on the 2026 car, not upgrades? Clearly they have a slow car. Why not upgrade? Oh no, they definitely are bringing upgrade packages. I think Red Bull will be probably one of the last teams to stop bringing upgrades for 2025. They're definitely going to focus on it quite significantly. And yeah, like, you can't just bring upgrades every single weekend. They did bring upgrades, I think, in Imola, and things went well for them there. And then Monaco, of course, wasn't the greatest weekend for Max Verstappen with all the slow corners and the curbs, but maybe that'll change this weekend. We haven't got too many slow corners around, if any, really, around here in Spain. The slowest corner you could probably say is turn number 10, but that's still third gear, and third, maybe even fourth if you during your quali lap. So no, not really, not too many slow corners, and that should help out Max Verstappen. But also the warm track temperature should help out McLaren. But then the technical directive should slow down McLaren. So we really don't know what's going to happen, and we'll just have to wait and see. Would you think Yuki would still be at Red Bull after the Honda partnership ends? Well, I think if Yuki can deliver and give out sufficient performances, then yes. But I think if he's going up against Max Verstappen, we don't really know what is a sufficient performance, what is a good enough performance to keep him in the team. We don't have any reference points. So Sergio Perez couldn't compete really that well, and then Liam Lawson clearly couldn't. Tsunoda has come in; he's managed to score points while Verstappen's been on the podium or close enough to the podium. So I think Red Bull will have to decide that. I think the Honda thing will obviously make it easier for Red Bull to just say, oh no, Yuki, you can leave. But I think he still has at least some sort of merit to stay there. Okay. Do you know any of the Ferrari upgrades? Ferrari have brought some minor tweaks. It hasn't been the biggest set of upgrades for Ferrari. It's just that I think Ferrari's wings were flexing the least out of anyone before the technical directive, which would have meant that they're going to lose the least performance, whereas McLaren, they had the most flexible stuff. They are going to lose the most performance. So that's what's going to bring them close rather than sort of upgrade packages. F1 Gamer, thank you for always bringing coverage. I have such a hard time waking up for 5 a.m. for practice and stuff, dedication. Honestly, that's why I become a member. I know I can rely on you all. Thank you very much, Sarah. Very much thanks for the nice message. And yeah, I mean, incredible dedication, really, waking up at 5 a.m. for practice. That is, yeah, I mean, I during the start of the season had some early wake ups, but that was only like 4 or 5 races at the start of the season, and apart from that, it's here in the UK. The time zones are pretty nice, but I can imagine anywhere else in the world it gets pretty tough, especially around Australia and stuff like that. Was Albon not in free practice 1? No, he wasn't. He was sat out of free practice 1. He was giving Victor Martins his car to get some experience in the Williams. All right. Is Barcelona considered a high-speed track? If yes, what teams are considered to be the paciest? Well, I would say Barcelona, as always, a lot of circuits really do reward aerodynamic efficiency, just having the most possible downforce for the least possible drag. And which team is the best at that? It would be McLaren. But I don't know. I think that in Barcelona, one of the other things to consider is the high track temperatures, and that will have a much bigger factor on who does well and who doesn't do well. So McLaren, they are pretty good in high track temperatures, and Mercedes not so much. That's why they look like they're struggling. Firstly, they didn't go out on soft tyres, and secondly, they aren't that great in hot track temperatures, and track temperatures during FP1 were reaching 49, 48 degrees Celsius, so extremely hot at an FP1, which, probably didn't help the Mercedes team. Would Red Bull become a 2-driver team once Max leaves, or is it just the philosophy of 1-driver team? No, I think I think if they have two equivalent drivers and they're not fighting for a championship, then it makes it pretty straightforward. You're just going to have two drivers both working together in a similar sort of fashion to Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. But when Red Bull are competing for the championship, then they don't have a lead number one and a lead number two. Like if you think back to say 2018, when Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo are alongside each other, there was no real clear lead number one and number two. They were both just trying to do as well as they could and try and steal as many points away from Ferrari and Mercedes at the time. So I think that's what would happen once Max leaves. Because if Max leaves, Max will leave to a team that is the quickest on the grid, and if Max is leaving Red Bull won't be the quickest on the grid. So at that point, they'll have two drivers, and they won't be competing for a championship. Okay. Back almost 50 Celsius, that's going to be the same for the race. The tyres are going to be gone in no time. Indeed, they will. So either it's going to be a two-stop, maybe even a three-stop. In 2022, it was a three-stop. 2023 and 4, it was a two-stop. So definitely potential to mix things up and introduce a lot of action. Will we see F1 Albon now? Yeah, we will. We will see Albon driving in free practice too. All right. Aston Martin upgrades. Is Adrian Newey at the track again? Adrian Newey is not at the track, but Aston Martin have got a new front wing, as of all of the teams really, for the new technical directive this weekend. But no major upgrades for Aston Martin. Just the changes to the front wing that every other team has also done. Who are your picks for P1, 2, and 3 for the Spanish Grand Prix? I mean, I'd have to tell you that at the end of FP3. I'm not gonna make that too early. No, not make that prediction too early on. Prefer to do it a little bit later. Any reason why the Ferraris are looking quicker? I mean, Ferraris are looking quicker because the Mercedes haven't set laps on soft tyres. Because once they set their laps on soft tyres, they'll probably either go in between the Ferraris or probably ahead of them, which will make Ferrari go further down, and then you'll be like, oh, Ferrari are just at the normal speed. I heard the last sector of the track is an interesting one. Could you please expand on that? Well, in fact, I'll just take you through a lap of the circuit. So here we go then. Let me play the onboard. Alright, so you come out of the final corner and you go onto the main straight. So this is a lap of the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, and you're just heading down the straight really. 320 Ks, 331 is the quickest that we saw from Sonoda down the speed traps, and then you just want to get a nice clean exit through turn number 1 and 2, just a right left chicane, then hug the inside line on quali laps for turn number 3, then brake under the bridge for Repsol, where you just want to hit that apex nice and early, get onto the... You can run out wide here, obviously not over the grass, but you can run out wide early because you've got a corner immediately next, so you don't lose too much time by taking an early apex. Then now you're going towards Worth, where you've got a little bit of a crest and a bump on the road, but the drivers do adapt to that, and they hopefully won't be spinning like I have done many times on the Formula 1 games. And then you make your way through Campso, where the rear goes a little bit light as you go up the hill, but very much is manageable with the level of downforce in these cars. Then this is the final sector here, where you haven't they removed the chicane that used to be here, and now it's just super long flowing corners. And the most interesting part of the final sector is this final corner here. It's very, very close to being flat in these 2025 cars. The drivers can just a little lift most of the time. But in quali, at the end of Q3, I suspect we will see some drivers just going absolutely flat out, because just going full send. They may go over the grass, they may go over the gravel on the exit. There is gravel to run off into, but yeah, it's going to be full send for the drivers coming out of that one, because you can gain a pretty significant amount of time by going flat through the final corner. You can carry maybe 6, 7, well, not even 6, you can probably carry out 10 kilometers per hour more speed onto the straight, and then you'll be gaining time all down the straight towards the start-finish line. Okay, F1 would you think Daddy Stroll will pay more money to Alonso to drive slow once Aston's the fastest car so Stroll Lance can win? No, I don't think. I think even he might offer, but maybe he'll offer. I don't really know, but he knows that there's no way Fernando Alonso's accepting that offer, is he? Alonso will be given the same car as Lance Stroll, and if it's a championship-winning car, you can guarantee that Alonso will be driving faster. This is a downforce or drag circuit. It's more of a downforce circuit really, because turn number one, all of the corners are reasonably high speed, which means you do need a lot of downforce going through all of them. And yeah, so the teams do opt for a little bit more downforce than typical around this circuit. Okay, F1 Gamer, which team do you see Leclerc driving for if he ever leaves Ferrari? Oh, I don't really know. I can't really imagine Leclerc leaving Ferrari, as in, like, I'm sure he could. It's just that Leclerc, ever since that he has stepped foot in Formula 1 or even Formula 2, he's always been associated with Ferrari. And, yeah, I don't really know where he would go. Yeah, to be honest, he could probably just go anywhere, really, but nowhere would really feel like home like Ferrari, I'd say. Oh, why the yellow flags? I think they were just testing out the systems really, before the end of the session, or right at the end of the session. Have you tried the F125 game? Any thoughts on it? Unfortunately, I haven't tried it yet. I've been a little bit too busy with university work, so I haven't actually had a chance to play it properly. And I also don't have my steering wheel currently with me, so I would be playing on an Xbox controller, which probably isn't the best way to go about playing a driving game. I think I was so pleased its ratio would say grass. Thanks. A little bit confused what that means, but sure. Alonso doesn't seem to age at all. He's alien. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Alonso, it's been a very, very long time that Alonso's been in Formula One, and it seems like of course, I'm sure he will have lost some pace compared to himself back in 2005, 2006 when he was racing against Schumacher and winning his championships. But the pace drop off that we've seen from other drivers as they get older, like Mark Webber, Seb Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton, even some may say. That pace drop off hasn't really been so apparent with Fernando Alonso, and he's just been always delivering. But you've also got to say that Hamilton's being compared against Charles Leclerc. Who's Alonso being compared to? Lance Stroll. He was compared to Stoffel Van Dorn back at McLaren. He was being compared to Esteban Ocon. He's not being compared to the best of the best from that current generation. So maybe Alonso versus Leclerc would end in the same way that Leclerc versus Hamilton is ending right now. But as it currently seems, on the face of it, Fernando Alonso has been delivering exceptional performances ever since he's stepped foot in Formula One. Okay. Do you like racing on street circuits or track circuits? I feel like tracks will always be better than street circuits. Well, I do agree with you. I think that the street circuits will be good on occasion, and Singapore has produced some fantastic races. But if you compare it to the races held at proper racing tracks, I think the proper racing tracks will always be a little bit better. Like Interlagos has so many fantastic races. Spa has had so many great races. Yeah, I think if you have a properly built race circuit, built for the sole purpose of overtaking, racing sharp corners and things like that, then it's purpose built to produce good racing action rather than a street circuit that was sort of you've basically just fit a racing track within the constraints of a city or a street, which isn't the most optimal way to go about designing a racing track. Is Martin? Will he do FP2? In fact, let me just update the graphics. We should have the free practice. Yeah, there we go. We've got the data for free practice 1, free practice 2 there. Sorry. Yeah. Alright, also folks, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. It really does help out the channel. Hopefully we can hit 166k subs today. That would put us on track for 200k by the halfway point of the season. So if you guys would like to help out the channel, then yeah, that'd be very much appreciated if you hit the subscribe button. Oh, thanks, Exoteric. Just listening in while I sold it to PCBs. Thanks for the commentary. Thanks for the gifted memberships as well, Exoteric. Glad you're listening, and yeah, I hope your soldering goes well. Don't you? And don't, well, just yeah. I hope your soldering joints are all right. I'm not the best at soldering really. What course are you doing at university? I'm doing engineering. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. F1 in 2030, they're gonna have roundabouts on this track. Yeah, I know it's roundabouts. Oh, bus lanes. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Oh, they should include traffic lights at Formula One races. That might be a good idea. Nah, I'm just joking, but yeah, we'll see what they do in the future races. The AI in the new F1 game is so good. They don't race battle each other. Only make mistakes when being. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see. I'll play against the AI in the new F1 game, and we'll see how it goes. F1 game. What kind of car do you drive? I don't drive a car really. Yeah. I drive the Formula One cars. That's what I drive. F1 game. I personally feel countries are pitching for street circuits for races slightly infuriating. Do you want to host a race and can't even build a track? Why do you think someone pitches that? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of the sort of benefit to hosting a Formula One Grand Prix is that it puts your country and your city on the map for like a large audience of people. Like, let's say, for a lot of people in Europe, Singapore is, like the country of Singapore never really comes across their mind as a nice location to visit or anything like that. But then I think the benefit of having a Formula One circuit in the city, it sort of shows off the city, it shows off how nice it is and all of the nice things about Singapore. And it also, the people that go to visit the circuit and watch the race, they'll spend a lot of money in the city, which helps out, the local economy and whatever. So that's sort of the reasoning behind having like a street circuit in the middle of the city, is that, oh, you can show it off to everyone around the world, like, oh, look at Madrid or look at Barcelona, it's such a nice place. Because if you look at the Barcelona circuit on the map, like, it is quite a ways away from the center of Barcelona. So the people that come to visit the circuit aren't exactly going to be spending much time in the city of Barcelona doing all the touristy stuff. Which is ideally what the cities want them to do. But this is a question of what the cities want for their local economy and what the best racing situation is. So I don't know. I'm sure there can be some compromises found, like having a circuit just closer to your closer to the city itself. Like in Hungary, I think the race circuit in Hungary is quite close to the city centre, in Budapest. But I'm not really certain. Oh, I'm a fancy electronics tech. I never tried to let a bad solder get past my desk. Oh, well, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I probably should have got a lot more practice than me. Mike's got a first in FP1. No. This is the free practice 2 timings. These aren't relevant to what happened in FP1. Clearly, Bortoleto wasn't up in third position. Okay. Is this the real Free Practice 2 commentary, or is this the game version? No, I mean, it's real Free Practice 2 commentary. I'm doing it. I'm not an AI or anything like that. Unless, you've never seen my face. So maybe I could be an AI. Who knows? Belgium gets crazy during Spa-Francorchamps. The camping spots and hotels in 25-kilometer radius are all gone or crazy expensive. Yeah. So I'm sure it helps out, even if the circuit is really far away from sort of central cities. Yeah. All right, we're 6 minutes away from the start of free practice 2, and we have got 1 hour of practice up ahead of us. Track temperature is still pretty hot, to be fair. Still 48 degrees. The Code Monster just thought I'd let you know someone on TikTok is currently stealing your content on our live stream. We'll post some more info about it on Discord. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, do let me know how many people they've actually got watching. Because if it's a large amount of people, then I might do something about it. If it's like 2 people watching, then maybe I'll let it be and they'll stop doing it without me having to say anything. All right. You should do a face reveal, but wear a racing helmet for the whole time for jokes. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. If I was to do a face reveal, maybe I'll sort of probably put a helmet on for part of the stream and then take it off later. But the issue is, if I was to wear a helmet, I wouldn't be able to talk into my mic, which is the big problem. All right, 5 minutes away now. Yeah, folks, let me know if you have any predictions. Who do you think is? Do you think anyone's going to crash out here in FP2? We'll wait and see. remind people to subscribe. It helps the channel's algorithm. Indeed, it does. Yeah, help out, guys. If you guys would like to. Yeah, I don't know. Like you mentioned on the community tab today, you think doing a separate live stream for the post-race discussion would be more beneficial since there won't be much of a viewership drop. Yeah, I think the sort of the reasoning behind me sort of ending my stream so quickly after the session finishes is basically as the number of viewers on the channel is sort of going up, on the number of viewers on a stream is going up. It's like the YouTube algorithm's like, oh, this is a really good stream. Loads of people are watching it. It's a good thing. I'll recommend it to loads of people. And this channel's algorithm, like this channel is a good channel, and that's sort of how it thinks, right? And then once the stream finishes and we've got 50,000 people watching, that will suddenly drop down to 20,000 people if I do a post-race show for like whatever, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. And then the algorithm's like, oh, this stream has just dropped from 50k to 10k people watching. It must be a bad stream. It must be a bad channel. And then the algorithm doesn't particularly like it. So I don't know. I'm gonna have a think about it. Maybe if some people just hit the like button extra, I think that might compensate for the fact the algorithm won't like it as much. But I don't know. I'll have a think. It's not the most relevant thing in the world to you guys anyway. It's for me to figure out. So. All right, a couple more things to talk about then. So the teams with the biggest upgrades this weekend are Mercedes, Alpine, and Sauber. Those are the three teams with the biggest upgrades. Apart from that, all of the teams have got tweaks here and there to their cooling systems, to their front wings, but no huge upgrades for anyone else. Just Mercedes, Alpine, and Kick Sauber. All right. Yeah. Just create a separate stream. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Wasn't able to watch any of FP1. Were there any problems with the Red Bull car? No, nothing really. The car looked pretty stable, and yeah, the modified front wing didn't seem to have too much of an impact on many things. All right. Oh, okay, right. Well, I've the Code Monster. Thanks for the message on the Discord. The problem is I don't have TikTok. I made a rule to not install TikTok, so I can't actually view this person's live stream. But if you could just send me a number of how many people watching, then I'll figure out what to do. Where can you watch FP2? If you want to watch FP2, then what you can do is let me show you. You just need to get Surfshark VPN. There's a link in the description to it. You get Surfshark VPN, you join an Austrian VPN server, you search ORF on Google, and you enjoy the Formula 1 coverage, really. Yeah, you join the Austrian VPN server, and then it's free to watch via Austria. So, yeah. I read that Verstappen might be staying with Red Bull in 2026 since he can't activate his claw anymore. Is this true or rumours? Well, we don't really know the exact details of Max Verstappen's contract. However, the rules sort of say that as long as he's within a fight of I don't know exactly what position it is or what position the rumours are saying it is, but as long as Red Bull has a competitive car, Max still has to stay at the team. And it's probably a good thing, really. Like, Red Bull probably won't be that bad in 2026, that you can't guarantee that it'll be the best. But then in 2026, if they are bad, then Max can basically just activate the contract and say, right, well, I'm now going to go to a different team and just, well, drive quickly, drive with the fastest team on the grid and leave you. So that's essentially what the contract is saying. Like, if Red Bull let's just imagine a scenario where the Red Bull car suddenly goes to the back of the grid, then Max will easily be able to activate the contract and just go to a different team, which is quicker, because that's obviously what Max should do. Yeah. F1 Gamer, of course, someone's trying to make a buck off you. Welcome to capitalism. Yeah, well, I don't know, it's alright. I mean, if he's streaming my audio, then anyone listening to this on the TikTok live stream, just go onto YouTube, search F1 Gamer, and you can watch the real deal rather than watching it on TikTok. Okay. Yeah, I guess if there are 70, 80 people watching, well, maybe we'll get 70, 80 more people watching on YouTube. All right. So, yeah, track temperature still as hot as ever. The sun is shining here in Barcelona. We are 30 seconds away from the start of free practice 2. And, yeah, not too much else to really talk about. We've got Alex Albon's back in the car, and so is Esteban Ocon. After sitting out for free practice 1, they'll be doing their first couple of laps around the circuit right now. F1 Gamer, what's your favourite F1 games of all time? I mean, I probably just have to say... Ooh, I don't know. I mean, the only F1 games I've ever had was 2018, 2019, and 2021. Those are the only 3 ones I've got. So, favourite of all time, maybe 2019? I don't know. I don't really know. Right. So we got drivers making their way out onto the circuit as expected, and Charles Leclerc is onto the track first with Esteban Ocon and Antonelli behind him. Let me just get rid of this countdown timer. Very nicely done. All right. Also, the pole time from last year are 1:11.3. So, just as a reference for anyone, the lap times will be coming in, and the pole time last year 1:11.38. So, I think the quickest we had in FP1 was a 1:13.9 or 1:13.8. So we still got about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds to go till we get to last year's pole time. Any thoughts on Max requesting a platinum driver rating to maybe go to WEC? I mean, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Max Verstappen doing some more racing, seeing how he competes against other drivers in other categories. It's great. I can't see any really downside to that. All right. Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Be sure to hit the like button, folks, as well. Does help out the channel, and yeah. Okay. Yeah, everyone coming out on medium tires for now. Apart from Stroll and Colapinto, they're out on the hards, and we'll have everyone else out on the mediums by the looks of it. Getting to grips, and they'll be doing probably a long run to start the session off with. Get a feel for what the tire pace is looking like on the mediums, and what the tire wear is looking like as well. That's the other thing. How quickly are these mediums working out? Wearing out. We did see quite a few drivers go out on the hards in FP1, so they'll be comparing the mediums and the hards, and they'll be evaluating which one's the best for the race strategy. They will have also made some setup tweaks between FP1 and FP2 just to make the car a little bit more stable, a little bit more drivable in the high speed corners, and the other thing is to make the car a little bit more suitable to driving over all of these curbs. Yeah, that is the other problem. All right. The code monster, is he playing audio of my stream as well, or is it just the numbers? Yeah. Feel bad for Hamilton, a whole year adjusting to a new car just to get a different set of regulations next year. Yeah, I mean it's not great really for Hamilton. I don't know. But maybe the new cars in 2026 will help him out. But there's no way to know. Audio as well. Okay, well I guess if you guys are watching this on TikTok, this is not my channel. Someone's taken my stuff and is playing it on TikTok on Black Box Gaming or something. So if you want to actually watch the live stream, then it's on F1 Gamer on YouTube. Yeah, it'd be ideal if you don't watch someone just nicking my stuff, but yeah. Okay, 56 minutes left of the session. We're 4 minutes into the session. First 3 times on the board, a 1:14 from Charles Leclerc, a 1:14.5 from Antonelli, and a 1:16 from Esteban Ocon. Colapinto across the line on the hards, a 1:15.7. Very nicely done. If I get a subbed, how many laps will mandatory pit stops be? We didn't have mandatory pit stops. It was there. Well, we have one mandatory pit stop. Monaco is the only race where there is a mandatory 2 pit stop, which they might even remove considering how badly it went this year. So I would say most likely it's going to be two stops, given that it has been 2 stops for the past 2 years. And what that means is that we will have... The driver's probably pitting around lap number 20 and then 40, I think. Yeah. F1 Gamer, what were the quali times last year? Quali times 111.3. Yeah, 111.3. Oh, here we go. Piastri goes a tenth quicker than Norris. Yeah, we saw this, in fact, in FP1. Norris was about 6 tenths quicker than Piastri. That's purely down to Piastri making a mistake on his one and only real hot lap. So I'm sure the lap time pace will get a lot smaller. Being ripped off is an annoying compliment. Yeah, I mean, of course, mimicry is I think that's what it's called. Mimicry is the highest form of compliment or something like that. But yeah, folks, if you are listening to this commentary on TikTok rather than on YouTube, this is not my whoever's playing this on TikTok is not actually my channel. And if you want to watch the real commentator sort of commentate it, then you search F1 Gamer on YouTube, and then you can watch all of the coverage. Yeah. Rather than on TikTok. Oh, there we go. Piastri across the line. He goes 3.5 tenths back from Lando Norris there. So still a little bit of lap time left to go. He goes slower in the middle sector again, really, compared to Norris, but I'm sure sooner rather than later he'll close that gap up. It's not too much of an issue. For you, who's the most underrated and most overrated driver? Well, I'd have to say... I don't know. I'd say about underrated. I'd probably say people really aren't paying much attention to Gabriel Bortoleto, but I think that he's been competing really well against Nico Hülkenberg in his first season, and Hülkenberg is a really established, quick driver right in the midfield, and Bortoleto just coming in and matching that is a great sign, really. So I'd say Bortoleto is an underrated driver that people aren't really considering. Overrated, I don't really know. I'd say a lot of the drivers that do have the hype around them, actually deserve the hype. So I don't really know about overrated. Yeah, overrated. Yeah. Verstappen's looking good. Yeah, Verstappen's up into second place. He is 3 tenths back from Norris. So what else have we got going on here? Just a couple of slow laps, really. We got drivers doing hot, cold, really, on medium tyres. So, yeah, this is the other thing. As we saw in Imola, I think it was Russell, Alonso and Stroll in Imola do their final Q3 laps on medium tyres because they were holding up better in the hot conditions. And given it's going to be very hot in Barcelona with track temperatures approaching 47 degrees, 48, 49 probably by Sunday, maybe the medium tyres are the way to go forward for quali, so they don't overheat by the end of the lap. So we'll keep an eye out on that, see what the drivers are doing, and maybe that's the strategy to go to make it through into Q3. How much do you think the new wing regulation affected McLaren? I don't think it will affect them too much. I think it will slow them down quite a bit, but not too much. All right. They come over the radio to Oscar Piastri saying, "You'll be surprised to hear this. You're purple in the first sector." And then Piastri comes over the radio saying, "Yeah, I should probably drift the car a little bit more." And essentially, I think what happened on Piastri's first sector, he was drifting the car a bit, obviously, and still managed to set the fastest first sector. Now, this is a sort of an interesting discussion to have. Of course, drifting the car is not going to be quicker in the long run. Your tires are going to overheat, but in theory, right? This is like very much in theory. It is theoretically quicker to have a grippy front end and then have a rear that is sort of just floating around as you drive through the corners. Now, that is extremely tricky to actually drive, as in to be consistently able to drive that car and not just spin out or crash out or anything like that. But what Piastri maybe did there, just having the rear slide ever so slightly, just being on that limit of grip, just indicates that you're going as fast as the car can possibly go. So, not actually that bad of a sign, really. If Piastri's been able to go through on the limit of grip there in the first sector, I think that's a good sign, really, even though it was probably involved a little bit of drifting. Favorite corner in Spain? Oh, it's got to be the final corner. I mean, just the commitment required to potentially put it flat in through quali. It's surely got to be that. It used to be Campso. It used to be turn number 9, where it was very borderline on whether it's flat or not during a quali lap. But now the cars have got so much more downforce, they can easily go flat through Campsa. It's now the final corner, which is the tough one. Basically what Max Verstappen does. That is correct. That is what Max Verstappen does. Has a very light rear end that slides around here and there. Oh, someone I got a yellow. Behrman. Oh no, he's fine. Okay. Um, yeah, got a yellow. Behrman going slowly, but he should be fine. Yeah, that's basically what Verstappen does. That does make him so quick. Yeah, Behrman went off into the gravel on the exit of Repsol. I think he must have got a twitch of the car that put him off into the gravel, but no damage to his car by the looks of it. Maybe some things broken off on the floor, but from the front, everything looks good to go except from the fact that his tires are covered in gravel. Oh, purple first sector for Lando Norris. I need another watch on YouTube instead for the fake stream. It's up to 130 now. Well, I mean the code monster. I think if you type in the chat, maybe that might help to say watch F1 Gamer. But yeah, I'll also mention it. If you are watching this stream up on TikTok rather than YouTube, I'd like to let you guys know that this isn't someone's stolen some content off YouTube, and if you want to support the original creator, then it'd be better if you go onto YouTube, search F1 Gamer, and watch it there, because whoever it is that's taking my stuff onto TikTok, sorry, has just stolen it without my permission. All right, yeah, Behrman had a spin as expected coming out of the exit of turn number 3. And turn number 3 is in fact called Renault. Therefore, it used to be a Formula 1 team, of course, before they got turned into Alpine. But yeah, he had a spin out there on the exit of turn number 3, which put him into the gravel, but no damage done, and he continues on. Would you have a red line on the track to indicate the sectors? Oh yeah, I actually forgot about doing that. All right, I will actually do that. I couldn't do it for Monaco because I couldn't figure out how to do it properly. But I will probably add a line in then. Just this sort of like red line indicating where one sector finishes and where the next one starts. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the reminder. As soon as you said that, you lost 20 viewers. Lol. Okay, well, I guess that's a good sign. It is working then. I guess the people that aren't leaving are probably either don't care or watching it muted, so there's not really much that I can do. But we got 8,000 people watching over here on YouTube, which is fantastic. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. We got a purple first sector from George Russell, showing some real pace here. He was on the medium tires in FP1, and everyone else was on the softs. Now everyone's on the mediums. So let's see, where are the Mercedes? Where do they stack up against each other? Kimi Anthony set a lap time. He was up in 4th position, half a second back from Lando Norris, or even 6/10 back from Lando Norris. But let's see what his teammate George Russell can do. All right. Lancelot, thank you for streaming. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. What's the difference between the purple and the green dot? So the purple dot is where the speed trap is. So that's where the speed traps are being measured from the bottom of the screen there. And the green dot is the DRS detection point. So that is where Stroll is driving through now. If it was a race and he was within the second of a driver ahead of him, then he would get DRS down the following straight. And the same thing for Tsunoda as he just passed through that green dot. Russell comes across the line and he goes a 10th and a half clear. Very, very nicely done there from Mr. George Russell. And looks like Mercedes' pace is good. They do lack race pace in hot conditions, but qualifying pace is a totally different story. The track temperature doesn't matter so much. And I think that maybe he'll be able to compete in quali, maybe not in the race. Alonso comes over the radio saying, we have a hero of the day ahead of us in the... I don't know who he's talking about. We have a hero of the day in front of us. That's what Alonso says over the radio. And then... So, I don't know exactly who's talking... I think he was talking about one of the McLarens, I'm not sure. But Alonso not very pleased and being sarcastic as always. Great to hear. Great to hear. Okay. F1 Gamer, why is Ferrari slow while they were fast in FP1? Because they are probably running different fuel loads, different engine settings. Like it's a free practice session, folks. You know, they're not really going flat out like you would expect to see in quali. So that's why things change. A blue microsector just means the drivers coming in or out of the pit lane. So as you can see, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, they got the final two sectors in sector 3 are blue because, you know, they came into the pit lane. Engine feels good, much slower than before. I mean, that's probably the best way to describe the Aston Martin situation right now. They've somehow got the best engine, or the tied best engine. The Mercedes engine is probably tied with the Ferrari engine, I think, but they can somehow still have engine issues. You know, I don't know what's been going on really. So hopefully they can resolve those. Alonso's still up in 6th place though, so still got some pace. Which team with significant upgrades? It is Mercedes, Alpine, and Kick Sauber. They have got the major upgrade, so you know, good. It looks good. Good signs really for the Mercedes team. But sooner or later, one of these teams is going to have to switch off development. So this is the thing. Currently in the Constructors' Championship, the gap between 2nd and 4th place is 5 points. 5 points between Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes. Mercedes are in 2nd place. Then we've got Red Bull. Oh no, not McLaren. Sorry, it's 5 points between Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari, and we've got Mercedes in 2nd place, Red Bull in 3rd, Ferrari in 4th, and well, they're all going to be fighting for 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship. So that's quite a bit of prize money. I think it's about 15 million. 15 million euros difference between 2nd place and 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. So, you know, the teams will actually be trying to get this 2nd place, and I guess we'll just have to see really which team will switch off their development first. Because if you can get, say, one more upgrade package in before one more upgrade package than the other team, then you'll have that performance advantage right till the end of the season. So it's basically a game of chicken, really. Who's going to chicken out first? Who's going to stop developing their 2026 car? Who's going to stop developing their 2025 car first and focus on 2026 and just hope that they have enough pace to get 2nd place in the Constructors? I don't know why Albon is going so slowly. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, it's just moved now. But I guess we'll see, really. At some point, these teams will all switch off 2025 development and all go to 2026. Williams have already done that. Kick Sauber have already done that. And we'll get news soon enough of teams doing that. Maybe this will be the final upgrade for Mercedes. Two track records the speed of the driver. Yeah, I mean it's not the speed of the driver, speed of the car. Why not? Yeah, as they pass through that little purple dot there down the main straight. Ferrari has the biggest price in the constructors just from being here since the start. I think it's 50 mil just for that. Yeah, Ferrari do get just 50 million for being a heritage team, and they're the only team that get it. So yeah, a little bit unfair, really. I think that's why the FIA used to be called Ferrari International Assistance back in the day. Yeah, you know, we've had a lot of names for the FIA, but back in the day it used to be called Ferrari International Assistance for the FIA. Ferrari get a lot of exceptions and special rules just for them. They get veto power in certain things as well because they are a historic team. But really, can you imagine Formula One without Williams? The thing is, though, you could say the same thing about of McLaren as well. So I don't really know. Like, that historic thing should be extended out to a couple more teams. I think Williams get money too, but it's not as much as Ferrari. Yeah, I mean I don't know. I think they probably should get something equal. Really, they're all equally irreplaceable in Formula One, I'd say. Okay. 30 million to McLaren and 10 million to Williams. Okay. So 50 million for Ferrari, 30 million to McLaren, 10 million to Williams. Sure. I mean, who knows? I guess they have the money. They could drop 20 million from Ferrari, give it to Williams, and then all three teams would be on 30 million each from the FIA. Who knows? Any news with the flex rule changes? Yeah, all of the teams will have got new front wings for this weekend. They'll all be running the non-flexible wings and the stiff wings, shall we say. And it'll be pretty standard stuff, really. The FIA will do their tests after qualifying is complete to make sure all the cars are legal. And I suspect all of the teams will pass them. Quali time from last year, a 111.383. Since when have you been watching Formula 1? I've been watching Formula 1 since 2018. Yeah, now the first race that I watched was Spa 2018, the one where Crofty said, "But here comes Sebastian Vettel." And yeah, it's a pretty good race. And since then I've watched pretty much every race. Oh, great lap there from Charles Leclerc up into 5th position. So yeah, Ferrari still do have pace. May not be the quickest out of all of them, but they still do have some pace under their sleeves. Alright, and we got Antonelli out on softs. Let's see what Antonelli can do. Russell as well is out on soft tyres. Very nice, very nice. Did I say to make sure all the cars are illegal? Yeah, to make sure all the cars are legal, not illegal. Yeah. First to watch was Silverstone 2020. Silverstone 2020. Oh, that's a pretty good race to watch, to be fair. Yeah, that was the one with all of the punctures and the three-wheeled finish for Hamilton at the end of the race, wasn't it? That was a special one, for sure. 2020 Silverstone, yeah. Actually, folks, do let me know what is the first Formula One race that you watched? Melbourne 2007. That's yeah, I mean quite a while ago. I have not. Don't remember anything about that, or I haven't heard anything about that race. Silverstone 2020, yeah, Silverstone 2020, definitely, definitely a race to watch, and a fantastic race to have as your first race as well. I've got to say, the three-wheeled finish like Lightning McQueen, I mean, incredible. George Russell sets the exact same first sector time as his previous one, so very, very consistent there from Mr. George. He's 21.722 in the first sector on his previous lap. On the medium tyres, he's done the exact same on his soft tyres. All right, let's see. Oh, there's a lot of these messages are coming through pretty quick here. Okay, 1997 for me. Hungary 21. Hungary 21's a pretty good one to watch, to be fair. Spa 2021. Spa 2021 probably not the best one with all of that rain. 2016 Barcelona. 2016 Barcelona, what a race. Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton taking each other out. 2021 Abu Dhabi, that first one. If you watch that as your first race in Formula 1, that's incredible. 2024 Baku as well, that was Piastri versus Leclerc battling away for the race win, and of course that's the race the channel hit 100k as well, which is very cool. Miami 2024. Oh, very nice, very nice. Spa 1964. Wow, must have been watching Formula 1 for a very long time there. Antonelli comes across the line, second place for him. Nicely done. And the Mercs are back on top. Well, they're the first of the top teams to do runs on soft tyres this session. So let's see what Norris and Verstappen can do. F1 game, I can't remember, end of 2025-ish. I think you mean end of 2024. I think you can look at my first donation and tell me. Fair enough. 2023, okay, yeah. Went to Brands Hatch several times before you were born. Yeah, fair enough. Brands Hatch, a pretty good circuit to watch Formula 1 at. Well, I don't know if they actually race there. Well, they obviously don't race there currently, but maybe they raced there before, I think. F1 gamer, how on earth can you remember all of these races? I mean, well, I'm a Formula 1 commentator. It's sort of my job to be, I think as an ideal commentator, you should be the most educated on the sport or like this current event. Like if you're commentating a football match, you should know all of the statistics about the football match. You should know all of the history. So I do my best and try to keep on top of stuff. But I'm also interested in the sport, so I'm bound to remember. Yeah. Oh, so quick purple first sector from Verstappen. That got taken away by Lando Norris. Verstappen's second sector is second fastest, and he's ever so slightly slower than George Russell's second sector. And we'll see what he can do as he comes out of turn number 13 now. Albon gets out of the way nicely. And then we have got just the final corner left to go for Max Verstappen. And what can he do? Across the line, second place for Max, 24 milliseconds back. So it looks like Mercedes have some pretty good performance. They're getting close to Max. At least Russell is, Antonelli still is 2/10 back. And we got Tsunoda across the line. Good lap from him as well. 5th place for Yuki Tsunoda. He's still 6/10 back from his teammate, to be fair. But improvement is an improvement. Japan 2005, the race where Alonso overtakes Schumacher in 130R. I mean, that's a really good race to watch then, yeah. Which GP left could you say more exciting to watch for quali? I enjoyed Monaco quali. I think all of the Monaco ones are pretty exciting, really. Oh, Lando Norris, identical lap times to Max Verstappen. Oh my god. 13.070. Exact same lap time. Incredible. Okay. Well, it looks like the competition might be back here, ladies and gentlemen. I think McLaren have slowed down. Red Bull have sped up. The race is back on for the championship. Please do the Team America Matt Damon voice and say Lance Stroll. I don't actually know what that voice is. I do know who Matt Damon is, but I don't know the Team America voice. Hungaroring 1986. Wow. Well, Formula One must, if you've been watching Formula One for all of that time, you must have, you've lived through so many generations of drivers, really. You lived through Schumacher, Vettel, Hamilton, now Verstappen, and now we're apparently in the Lando Norris era. However, I'd like to probably say that it's the Oscar Piastri era. Who knows? Where do you come from? Well, I'm currently in the UK, so... I say currently in the UK as if I move around everywhere, but no, I'm always in the UK. So, yeah, that's where I'm from. 22.712 from Hulkenberg is amazing. Yeah, I think Hulkenberg's been doing some pretty good first sectors, really. And, well, actually, maybe it's the first sector or the second sector, but regardless, Hulkenberg's doing some pretty good lap times. And 5th place for him. Oh, Tsunoda comes over the radio. Okay, so same feeling as FP1, just sliding on both axles. Yeah, literally just sliding around, no grip. That's what Tsunoda's saying over the radio. So Tsunoda's still struggling with some issues there, and I mean clearly so. He's 6/10 back from his teammate. And look at that, Max Verstappen second fastest in the first, second, and third sectors. Some paces back. What time now is it in the UK? It's 4:30. It was the third sector with a few purple. Oh yeah. No, I mean for sure I can. In fact, let me get up the sector times here. We've got Russell quickest in the. We got Russell quickest in the first sector, and then Verstappen second, Norris third, and Hulkenberg fourth. Very nice. Okay. Oh, we got 9,200 people watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Do my best to provide you guys with the best commentary. Oh, a little bit of a slide there for Charles Leclerc on the exit of Campsa. Manages to keep the car under control, though. He's a 10th.5 down on George Russell's times as he passes through the middle sector line. Bortoletto's GPS has gone off. No, Bortoletto's in the pits, so that's why he's not on the. That's why his GPS isn't working. Was Sepang a good circuit? Oh, for sure. Sepang was a fantastic circuit. One of the best, really. Across the line comes Charles Leclerc. 4th place for him. Look at this. Top four drivers, 4 different teams. And the gap within 0.2 of a second. Can't complain, really. Cannot complain. Oscar Piastri, though, purple in the first sector. Looks like he's not going to have much of George Russell sticking around the top. He goes quicker than his teammate by about 0.5 in the first sector. Goes quicker than Russell by about 1/10 in the first sector. Oh, again, 0.5, sorry, in the second sector. Purple in the second sector as well then. Very, very nice from Oscar. Stroll across the line, 12th place for him. Alonso is on the softs. He managed to go up into 6th as well. So looking good here for Fernando Alonso. Here comes Piastri, purple in all three sectors, 3/10 clear of the competition. Piastri's back, ladies and gents. I mean, he was never really gone, to be honest. Just in FP1, he was 6/10 back from Lando Norris for, I don't know, just must have made a mistake, really. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Alright, also folks, if you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. Hopefully we can make our way towards, 1,500 likes. That's typically what we get up to for free practice sessions, and hopefully we can hit 166k. That's the main one, because I'd like to hit 200k by the end of the summer, well, before the start of the summer break, and then I will have merch. I'll have merch dropping for a 200k special. I already showed some designs off before, but I will. Let's see. Let me load up the design again. I haven't made any new designs, to be honest. But I did show one off a couple of weeks ago. Right, where should I put it on the screen? I guess I'll just put it here for now. But I'll show you. I was sort of a design to go on the back of a t-shirt. The George Russell T-pose. I mean, this. It would be on a white background, obviously. And I'm going to do this for all of the drivers. And it'd be sort of a 200k special thing. And I might probably just keep it going as well. But if you guys are interested, then yeah, I'll be doing that at some point. I need to get all of the drivers done, really. That's the big issue. It takes a lot of time to get all of these designs done, and also make some ones that actually look cool rather than just the driver's face and their name. Alright, we got George Russell coming out now. He's doing his second run on a set of soft tyres, so he's just come out of the pits. And now we'll keep an eye out and look at his lap time difference. So Russell, as we know, is very, very consistent. So let's see now, does he improve on the second lap? Does he get slower? Does he hold the exact same lap time? Because that gives us a bit of an indication onto how quickly these soft tyres wear out, and is it possible to do 2 runs on a set of softs in quali, or do you want to just do one run and then come into the pits, change tyres, because it's a waste of time essentially to do 2 runs. F1 Gamer, how much would the shirt cost? I mean, I would try and make it as cheap as possible, really, considering that most Formula 1 merch is like, well, very expensive. I think it's like $60 or £60 for a shirt or something. Like, it's ridiculous. So I'm hoping to do it for £15, or which would probably be like $20, I think. Yeah, I can't really make it much cheaper than that, because the scale, like, obviously if I was a huge company making thousands and thousands, it makes it in bulk, it's obviously cheaper. But if I'm making only like 20, 30, then it's a bit different. Mystery tyre for Hamilton. Indeed, it is mystery tyre. And when I say mystery tyre, Hamilton, they switched his tyres while he was in the pits, and then the Ferrari were just doing a practice pit stop. That's all. So he came into the pits. Ferrari switched out the tyres from the mediums from the softs onto the mediums, and now they're just lifting him into the pit lane. Believe it or not, Imola 1994. Wow. 15's a bargain. Make some money for yourself. Maybe. I mean, I'll see. Obviously, I don't need all of the money in the world, really. And I would kind of like to make some merch that's actually affordable. But I'll have a look into it. Yeah. And the other thing is, of course, the shipping as well would be quite expensive. Like, obviously, if you're buying something from Amazon, shipping's normally always free. But because I'm obviously only selling, like, I don't know how many I'd sell, really, maybe 100, considering we have, like, well, nearly 200k subscribers, maybe I'd sell a bit more. But yeah, still pretty small scale for, like, global shipping. So we'll have to look into all of that. And hopefully once I start my university holidays, I'll get a lot more time to actually look into that. But yeah, anyway, you guys aren't here to listen to me about the logistics of delivering T-shirts around the world. You're here for Formula One. So I'll continue on with the coverage. And Bortoletto, just across the line there, 17th place for him. F1 Gamer, which is your favourite Seb Vettel race? My answer is 2013 Indian Grand Prix. Loved watching him in the stands. What's yours? I mean, if you watch that race in the stands, that's incredible. I think 2013 India for Seb Vettel, where he's like bowing down to that car, that is the best image in Formula One history. I mean, I'm a Seb Vettel fan, so I'm very biased with that one. But my favourite Seb Vettel race, I'd have to. He didn't win 2019 Germany, but he started in 20th position and made his all the way up into second place. So I'd say 2019 Germany for Seb Vettel was also a pretty good race for him. His final win in Singapore, that was a pretty good one as well. F1 game a sim lap, yeah, why not? Let's do a sim lap then. As we come out of the final corner, this is pretty much going to be in line with Carlos Sainz here. In fact, I'll just sync it up with Carlos Sainz. There we go. All right, coming out of the final corner. I missed the sync a little bit. But anyway, coming down the start-finish straight, you have DRS wide open, and you're heading down the straight up in 8th gear, of course. You're actually using 8th gear here in Spain rather than shifting down from 7th like we were in Monaco. Brake at the 70-meter mark here, and then just flat through the second part of this chicane, flat again through this one. I lift a little bit because my line was pretty bad, but the drivers are flat through this part, and then brake just under the bridge here. Pretty good reference point, to be fair. And then get an early apex, just carry as much speed through the early part of the corner. You don't need a good exit because you're braking again in about 20 meters time for the next corner. Here you need a good exit because you've got a fairly long run towards the Worth corner where you tap the brakes a little bit, flick the car in. Now there's a little crest and a bump here which you do have to be careful of, otherwise it's quite easy to lose the car. But you make your way through there, flat through Kamsa. It's a little bit tough in the 2021 cars, but in 2024, 2025, it's totally flat. Then you go for this sort of rounded out corner of turn number 10. Then another very, very long corner for turn number 12. I'm not going to try and pronounce that one. Blank Sabadell? I don't know. But you've got New Holland here, the final corner, where the drivers do their best to go flat. It's only really going to happen at the end of Q3, maybe at the end of Q2, but otherwise it's a very tough corner to get right. We get a Max and Sid Sloth meme show. I'd love to do any sort of design ideas you guys have got. Do let me know, and I'll do my best to make them happen. What do you study at uni? I study engineering. Is it flat turn 13 and 14? I don't actually know. I think 13. 13 is flat because you're going through 12 quite slowly, so you don't really accelerate that much by the time you reach turn 13. So 13 is flat. 14 is very borderline. Like at the end of Q3, if you're Max Verstappen, you can go flat, and apart from that, maybe not. Like I watched someone made a video of all of the onboards from last year's quali, and the only drivers going flat at the end of Q3, Max Verstappen, George Russell and Lance Stroll. Only 3 drivers. Clearly, Lance Stroll is up there with the GOATs. We've got Mr. Saturday, Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll, the GOAT himself. Only 3 drivers going flat. Through turn number 14. Apart from that, everyone else had a little lift. So, and the other thing is, at the end of Q3, it's the final corner of the lap, which also adds a little bit of sort of confusion into the drivers' minds. Like, you've had such a good lap. If you okay, let's imagine you have a really good sector 1, 2, and then you're coming towards the final corner. Do you want to risk it even further, potentially go off into the gravel, get your lap time deleted, and ruin your best Q3 lap, or play it safe, lift just a little bit, and then come across the line and get a sufficiently good lap time to get 4th place, 5th place, or whatever. So it's a bit of a risk versus reward situation as well, because you've had a really good lap up to that point, so then you might as well play it safe and actually come across the start finish line with a good lap time, or do you just go full send and potentially lose that lap? So it's a little bit of a difficult choice. It was the listener who made it. Yeah, I think it must have been him then. Yeah. All right. Which uni? Just curious. Or which major? I'm not gonna tell you guys which university it is. Unfortunately, just personal information. Yeah, we got 20,000 people watching. No, not 20,000 people. We got 9,000 people watching the stream. We got 20 minutes left of the session. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and yeah, be sure to hit the like button. All right. What else have we got going on then? Oh, we got quickest through the speed traps. Fernando Alonso 3:34 through the speed traps. Oh, this is one other thing that we'll have to watch out for qualifying. You gain a huge, and I say huge amount of time by having a tow down this start finish straight. So we know that some of these drivers will be giving each other toes. Like, for example, if Tsunoda was to make it through into Q3, he will probably be instructed by Red Bull to give you Max Verstappen a toe on his quali lap. If he doesn't make it through into Q3, then Verstappen will have to fend for himself and maybe pull some favours from some other drivers. So typically what we see, in fact, when Max thinks that his teammate isn't going to make it through into Q3, which is probably most of the time, what it will do is give another driver that probably is going to make it through into Q3, like, say, I don't know, Alonso or Sainz, and he'll give them a toe in Q1, and then as a sort of a repaying favour, one of the drivers that he gives a toe on in Q1 or maybe a weekend before, they'll give him a toe back. And Verstappen, every single trick in the book really to get a pole lap, because as we know, starting the race in first position is very, very important. Do you think Alonso will score points? I mean, I'd really like to see Alonso score points, to be honest. He hasn't scored any points all season long. He was set to score points in Monaco and then had that engine issue. So, yeah, if he doesn't score any points this season, then... Oh, not this season. If he doesn't score any points this race, it will put him on track to have the worst Formula One... the worst start to his... the worst start to a season at any point in his career, even worse than his rookie season. His rookie season, his first season, 2001 with Minardi, would still be better than this year's performance if he doesn't score points this weekend. So, yeah, I would really like to see Alonso score points, really. Yeah. Um, The record time for this Grand Prix, it's 1:11.3. That's the quickest time that we've had around this circuit. And as you can see, the quickest that we've got so far from Piastri are 1:12.7. So we're still 1.4 seconds off, and Piastri's quickest time was set on a set of soft tyres, but still, engine modes have not been turned up, and the drivers aren't pushing all the way to the limit. Gosh, my friend, you're such a baby when it comes to F1. I've been watching since the 60s. Saw Senna, Mansell, and all the other drivers dreaming their dreams. Wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, hopefully I'll be watching many years. Hopefully I'll be watching Formula One many years into the future. But yeah, I would have loved to see Senna and Prost battle out in their prime, and not just have to watch the replays. Hulkenberg's last lap was 7 minutes. I think that's just changed. He's just come across the line. But it normally comes across the line where it normally says 7 minutes or something if he comes into the pit lane and then for some reason the GPS doesn't register. So it's probably just a little glitch. Yeah, I will do a lap and show you where it's crucial for crashes. In fact, I shall do that just now. All right. So crucial for crashes. Let's talk about corners which are crucial for crashes. You come down the main straight. You got turn number 1 and 2. You make your way through turn number 3. That's fine. Turn number 4. I would say this is a pretty crucial one, really, for crashes. I don't know. Maybe sometime in recent memory, we've had number 1 and number 2 drivers in the championship crash into each other here. Yeah, 2016. No, I'm just joking. Obviously, I remember. But yeah, turn number 4, pretty critical for crashes on lap number 1. And the drivers will be very wary of that one. Maybe we'll get Lando Norris and Piastri crashing, but we'll see. And then as you go around the rest of the lap, the critical corners are sort of turn number 10, where the drivers will be... Well, actually, it's quite easy to crash at this corner yourself, really. At Worth corner, you're going through... So the corner that I've just sort of driven through, the car's already tilted to the left-hand side. The circuit is tilting to the left. But then on the next corner, the circuit is tilting to the right a little bit. So you go over this little crest, which unsettles the car a little bit, and makes it a little bit unstable as you go through the mid-corner. But majority of the time the drivers are just fine. It depends. It's only on certain setups. If your car is set up a little bit too low, you get affected by the bump and the crest. Then you've got turn number 10 here, where if you're going side by side through here, it's quite easy to bang wheels and things like that and get pushed off into the gravel as you go through turn number 10, 11 and then 12. And turn number 13 and 14 will most likely be single file. It'll be just throwing away lap time if you're going side by side through there, and just inviting the drivers behind you to come and catch up. Okay. Bro hates McLaren. I mean, I don't really hate McLaren. I don't really want to see them run away with the world title. You know, it'd be much more interesting if we had Norris, Piastri, and Verstappen rather than just Norris and Piastri. Um, so let's wait and see. All right, 15 minutes left of the session here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see half the grid out on soft tyres, half the grid out on mediums, and then we've got Lance Stroll out on hards. Um, yeah, everyone's just gathering data really at this point. You can see they're on 12, 13, 14 lap old tyres, and their lap times are up in the 1 minute 20s. So they're doing race pace runs with a lot more fuel in the car, and the engine mode's turned down. Okay. What else have we got going on? Which team do you think has the coolest color scheme ever? It's the black merc and the sign for me. What do you want? What about you? I would probably say it's got to be. Well, I mean, Ferrari's not really a color scheme, is it? Like Ferrari's just Ferrari red. But in any other case, it would have to be the Marlboro McLaren. Surely, Marlboro McLaren. It's got to be. I can't think of anything more iconic than that one. How much time does it cost for a pit stop? I don't actually have the exact figure. Pirelli normally releases the numbers around a week or so before. Oh, not a week. The day of the race. So I will. I'll let you know once we get closer to the race, but it'll probably be, as an approximate value, around about 23 seconds. The black and arrow, the black and gold, actually, the Lotus. Yeah, that is definitely up there. Um, yeah, sort of have to create a livery tier list. The most iconic liveries that you've ever seen. Did Colapinto's car get fixed after everyone? Is he still having issues? Well, given that he's currently out on the circuit, I think his issues have been fixed. Yeah. F1 Gamer, why do they usually wait a long time in the pits? Normally because they don't actually have that much running to do. The teams have got very, very good with this sort of data analysis and this and the simulation stuff. So they only really need probably like 6, 7, 8 laps from drivers, and then they can predict the rest. So the drivers sort of just sat in the garage, they're refueling, they're changing setups. Some of this stuff does take time. Some of the time the drivers just sat there waiting around, waiting for the conditions to become a little bit more representative. You know, they're waiting for track temperature to come down. The session started out at 49 degrees. It's now down to 44. So the teams might want to do a little bit more running in cooler temps, and they're just waiting around for that. Okay. We go back to India. I mean, yeah, I think the race in India would be great, wouldn't it? Loads of fans as well. Loads of people that are interested in Formula One in India. So I'm sure the tickets would sell out. Yeah. All right, we've got 8,000 people watching the stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. I'll be commentating for Free Practice 3 tomorrow as well, and qualifying as well. Pretty normal stuff for the channel. So yeah, I do. If you guys are new here, I commentate all of the free practice sessions, all of the races, all of the qualifyings. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy the coverage, then I'll be here for the rest of the season. Probably a couple more seasons to come as well. But yeah, do let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any ideas to improve the coverage, things that I could do better, do let me know, and I'll do my best to make the channel to improve the channel. All right. What time for FP3 and quali? So whatever time it is, right? Well, the FP3 stream will have the whatever time I have is already set up on the streams. But let's have a look. Let me just. So whatever time it is now for you in the world, if you go back 50 minutes, that's when quali starts tomorrow, and then FP3 is 2 hours before that, or 3 hours before that. Sorry. Who's doing the live stream for the race on Sunday? Is it the Austrian channel again? Yeah. Folks, if you are interested, I do have to. I've totally forgot to mention this. To be fair, Surfshark doesn't really mind if I say it only one time or 10 times during a stream. But if you guys do want to watch Formula One for a very cheap price, rather than paying $200, $300 dollars for the entire year to watch it on Sky Sports or ESPN or whatever, all you've got to do is get Surfshark VPN. There's a link in the description. Then you download it onto your computer. You join an Austrian VPN server. Then you go onto Google. You search ORF, O for Oscar, R for race, F for Ferrari, and you make an account, you log in, and you can watch Formula One for free via Austria. So the only thing you have to pay for is Surfshark VPN. There are 300 people watching it using this method on the channel right now, and it works. If it doesn't work for you, then you can always get a refund. So there's a link in the description. Go ahead and check that out. All right, let me get rid of that then. 9 minutes and 15 seconds left. Currently, everyone just lapping around and having a look at these lap times here. 1 minute 20 is pretty standard for everyone. 1 minute 20, 1 minute 21 as the tyres wear out a little bit. The teams are experimenting, doing a little bit of longer runs on the soft tyres because it might be the optimal way to go, really. We've seen in the past couple of races how critical it is to get a good launch and to get a couple of overtakes done in the opening lap. So potentially starting the race on the set of soft tyres, maybe doing 10 laps at the start of the race on them, and then doing the rest of your race strategy with 2 stops might be the way forward. So we'll just have to wait and see, really. But a little strange, really. Normally we don't see teams like Mercedes doing 18 laps on a set of softs in free practice, but we got George Russell out doing exactly that. So interesting. Like my profile photo changed it to show Damon Hilling winning a Brands Hatch. Oh, that's pretty cool actually. Yeah, I can see the British flag and him in the car as well. So pretty cool there, Anthony. Alpine has upgrades on both cars or just Gasly? I think it's upgrades on both cars. I will double check that, but typically Alpine don't have some of the teams like Aston Martin will do upgrades on one car and then not upgrades on the other car, and Red Bull will do similar things, but Alpine is typically upgrade packages on both cars. So I've just assumed that they'll have it for both cars, but I'll double check that. F1 Gamer, can you add a narrow strip like the news headlines at the bottom of the things to look out for and interesting info regarding the race? That actually used to be on the stream. Used to be on the stream for about 3 years, but we had a big sort of community feedback session. Most people didn't think it was particularly useful because it was sort of the same information just going around again and again and again over the course of 2 hours. So I'll just keep sure to keep mentioning important stuff and things like that. F1 Gamer 5, F1 24, should I buy F1 25? No, there genuinely won't be that big of a difference. Like, I haven't even played F1 25, but I can just tell you without playing, like, EA Sports don't change the game every year. Like, they'll change some settings here and there, and they'll change the colours and obviously update the driver numbers and stuff like that, but realistically, if you have fun just doing the Grand Prix racing or the career mode, like, I'm sure the career mode's pretty similar. Last year's poll time, a 111.383, so we are still quite a ways away from that. Why is Lewis still in 11th? Just didn't drive quickly enough. Not much else I can really say. He's only 2/10 back from Charles Leclerc, but he's 6 positions behind him. It just shows you how close that competition is. You've got Piastri up at the top, then 3/10 back to Russell, Verstappen, Norris, and then you've got 2/10 of a gap from Norris to Leclerc, and then everyone is so close together. You've got, in the space of half a second, from 5th place all the way down to 16th place. Like, that's how close the gap is. 10 drivers put within the space of half a second. Very close. All right. Thanks, I was there. I think his teammate Rubens Barrichello, not about right. Oh wow. Well, congrats to watching that race. Really, must have been a great one to watch. All right, 5 minutes left of the session. We got Stroll and Hamilton in the pits. Apart from that, everyone else lapping around this fantastic circuit here in sunny Barcelona, and lots of action up ahead. Really, we got free practice 3 tomorrow. Verstappen goes through quickest through the speed traps. 3:36 through the speed traps he goes. I must have got a toe off someone really, because there's no way the Red Bull they've turned up the engine mode in practice, and there's no way he's going that quick as well down the straights, to be honest. Next year we'll have Madrid. I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's probably won't be as good as Barcelona, really. In fact, folks, Barcelona has had more than 50 overtakes for the past 3 years in a row. In fact, in 2024, I think it was within the top 3 or top 5 races of most overtakes. So, you know, previously we did used to think Barcelona was a bit of a boring circuit. I think that was the problem was the chicane. The chicane sort of ruined any sort of chances of getting some real good overtaking done. And after they removed the chicane, we've been getting loads of overtaking around the circuit. And I think that yeah, it's a great addition to the calendar. All right, we got Verstappen. Yeah, Verstappen got a toe off Leclerc, and that's how he went quickest through the speed traps. And yeah, they were just complaining a little bit about traffic here and there. Verstappen wanted to go faster than Leclerc, and I think he is. He's lapping about a second or so quicker. Oh no, I don't know. Maybe he was previously or something. He's stuck behind Russell as of right now. Max overtook Charles on pure pace, same tyres. Yeah, I mean, this is practice here, ladies and gents. Like, Leclerc will be on different fuel loads, firstly, compared to Max Verstappen, and secondly, it's practice. Like, Leclerc isn't defending or trying that hard. Yeah. I like the new turn 10. Yeah, the new turn 10 is an improvement as well. They did make a couple of good changes around the circuit, and it's contributed to the racing. So you've got to give the organisers of the circuit props. I think Racing Statistics is trying to copy you. It's way too close like yours. Well, me and Racing Statistics have both been streaming since 2021. In fact, not even 2021, since 2020. So, yeah, no, he's not really copying me. Well, I mean, no, he's not really copying me. We've both been doing it for so long that we're both just doing pretty similar things because, we're both presenting data. However, personally, I do like to think my commentary is better than the Racing Statistics commentary, especially when it's a little bit more exciting in the race. I think I'd prefer my own commentary, but obviously I'm going to say that, aren't I? Yeah. The green dots start zones. No, the green dots are the detection points. So if you're within 1 second of the driver ahead of you at the green dot, then you get DRS, and then the green line is where the DRS zone itself is. The purple dot is the speed trap that you can see, the time scrolling through the bottom of the screen. The slowest driver through the speed trap, Lance Stroll, 3:24 Ks, and the quickest is Max Verstappen, 3:36, and the second quickest, Fernando Alonso, 3:34, Albon, 3:32, and this is all with toes here and there. Drivers are getting toes, slipstreams. Yeah. UK is nowhere near max. He's struggling. Yeah, I mean, Yuki came over the radio saying that he just had no grip whatsoever. And once again, yeah, his lap time is his six tenths back from Max. And he previously was, in fact, only like 4 or 5 places back from Max Verstappen. But as you can see, everyone else's lap time sort of slotted in between that 6/10 gap. And now he's all the way down into 13th. So 10th place gap between the two drivers. What are the best tyres for the race? I would say probably the medium tyres for the first stint, and then 2 sets of hards. I'm not sure. Pirelli haven't released a strategy yet, and it always depends on tyre temperature and track. Sorry, not tyre temperature, track temperature. Earlier in the day it was 49, and now it's 43. So things will change up, and Pirelli will release it according to what they think the forecast is going to be. I come from Racing Statistics. Since Ryan is no longer there, and your commentary is not as good with the others, yours is much better. Oh, well, thank you very much. I saw yours, you in the P1 chat last time after ending yours. Oh yeah. In fact, to be fair, the Matt from P1, or like from WTF1, let's say, one of his videos actually got me into Formula One. So I'm streaming alongside someone that got me into Formula One, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, Matt never read my message in the chat, so I might have to email him. But yeah. Anyway, 30 seconds left on the clock, and we have got Oscar Piastri up in first place. In fact, I'll just read this out. Anyone for listening to this like a sort of a radio broadcast, I'll just read out the positions. We have got Oscar Piastri in first place, George Russell in second, Verstappen in third, Norris in fourth, Leclerc in fifth, Antonelli in sixth, Alonso in seventh, Gasly in eighth, Hadjar and Lawson in ninth and 10th. Then we have Hamilton in 11th, Hulkenberg in 12th, Tsunoda in 13th, Albon and Sainz, and then Albon in 14th and 15th. Then we got Stroll in 16th, Bortoletto in 17th, Ocon and Behrman in 18th and 19th, and then we have Colapinto in 20th. The checkered flag is out, and we have got, and that's the end of the session there, folks. Checkered flag is out, and all of the drivers are just going to come back into the pits now. All right. So that's about it, really. Yeah, I think that's about it, really, ladies and gents. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I will be commentating for Free Practice 3 and qualifying tomorrow. And given how close the field is, I think we're going to have a great qualifying session. And then, of course, the race with probably 50-plus overtakes. I'm not even going to bother counting because there'll just be way too many. But definitely a lot more than Monaco. So hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage. I'll see you tomorrow for FP3 and quali, and then in 2 days' time for the race as well. If you could hit the like button on the FP3 stream and the reminder button as well, that really helps out the channel. And apart from that, not much else really from me. If you guys are interested in watching Formula 1 for $2 a month, you can use Surfshark VPN and follow the instructions up on screen. But that's about it from me. I shall see you in about 18 hours time, or maybe 19 hours time for the Free Practice 3 session. All right. Thank you everyone for coming along, and see you later. Bye bye.